can't say he's lived until he's loved.
Well, go out and love someone.
If I do, her.
Have you told her?
No, you know me, I'm too shy. Here, I could cable her.
Oh, why not semaphore? Arthur, you've got to declare yourself openly. Otherwise, you'll stay right where you are.
Blush. 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 Simple man. I have plain, simple feelings, and I use plain, simple words. And I simply have to let you know, plainly, that I plainly and pimply want.
Thank God for this delicious Black Rifle coffee from my Mug Club. Good thing I got my Walther right here, covered by FLP Insurance. Listen, Mug Club, ladderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club is more important than ever because on Monday, we'll be doing a stream which most certainly will be taken down. We have a teaser here really quickly before the show. It's the hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself live stream at 8 p.m. Eastern. We actually have recreated the entire prison cell, meaning we've actually had people work construction, and we will be testing both the pounds of torque, the newtons, I don't know exactly what it is. I will be trying to sever my cervical vertebrae live at 8 p.m. Eastern, just like a Robbie Knievel event, only, a pedophile tried to kill himself. Here's a teaser, and then enjoy the rest of the show. Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Billionaire businessman Jeffrey Epstein
has committed suicide. He committed suicide.
Suicide. Monday, November 25th. Right here, we will be live streaming the Epstein Didn't Kill Himself Super Show, in which we recreate the exact conditions surrounding Epstein's death and verify for ourselves whether there was foul play against America's favorite pedophile. That's November 25th, this Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Special Epstein Didn't Kill Himself live stream Mug Club discounts to follow. Louder with Crowder Studios, protected exclusively by Walther
And Hopper.
And Betty.
What happens next in the? I don't understand the sketch. I don't think I.
What do you mean? It's Edward Scissorhands.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we put mugs on everything.
Yeah, I know. I have the mugs on the hands.
Just like the movie.
But where does the sketch go from there? I don't understand it. Is it me? I appreciate that you guys put on the work. What does he do? That's called the I'm still waiting for my X chair, Glenn Beck.
Jeez.
By the way, we have Alex Jones on the show today. So this will immediately be demonetized. We'll be talking about Donald Trump being the first black president. As well as recent impeachment proceedings. And spoiler, nothing has happened. But yeah, this happened. I was on Glenn Beck's radio show a long time ago. And what happened was he was doing a commercial for a chair. And I was just looking for something to talk about when I came back from the break. I said, hey, I tell you what, that chair looks really cool. This chair is a piece of crap, as a joke. Yeah. And apparently he bought me a top-of-the-line X chair. He's like, I really think Steven's going to like this. So now I have to be like,
But where is it?
I don't know.
He's sitting on it.
I have no idea.
Don't check Gerald's house.
That was just a personal thing. It's not like a professional gift. He was just trying to be nice. Yeah. But he went off like I was lying. So question of the day before we move on. Do you think that President Trump has done, well, first off, do you feel that he's done more for black Americans than President Obama ever has? And then objectively, do you think so? Spoiler alert, if you say no, you're wrong. My half-Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond, is with us.
Hi, friends.
Thank you, sir. Glad to see you. Quarter black hair.
What's up, John?
I don't like it. I am very uncomfortable. And Audio Wade.
Howdy.
G. Morgan Jr., you have a wine of the day?
I do. It's Chateau de Marsanne Rouge.
Oh, what does that mean?
It's a Pinot Noir.
Surrender.
Why don't they just say
From
Pinot Noir?
Burgundy.
Why do they say Rouge?
Because
Here's the thing. Red, Rouge means red in French.
I said,
So you have to say, oh, it's a Rouge. It's a red. What is it? It's a Pinot. And, oh, where's a Pinot from? It's like, just say it's a Pinot.
they assume you're more educated.
Just say it's a Pinot, and like I'm gonna throw a bunch of ejected woody, oaky. I don't know what I'm talking
Tastes
about.
like
Exactly.
feet.
I drink
Goes
yellowtail
well with turkey.
and I wake up in a puddle of my own filth. Okay, we'll be talking
As
about a
well
lot
you
of other
should.
things today, but first, President Trump is going to be president forever.
It hurts.
Yes, the only people who unironically wear fanny packs are Pete Buttigieg fans and serial pedophiles, which brings us, by the way, to this week's Who Wore It Better? Okay, so we have the Buttigieg fan or Jimmy Savile, and Jimmy Savile, a serial pedophile.
Wow.
wore it better. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, clearly.
Okay.
No,
It was a short
no
segment.
question.
Yeah.
Very short. Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for forcing the crew to put that all together.
You don't feel too bad.
Kicking things off after that, the screenwriter of the new film Harriet. Are you aware of this, Harriet?
I'm aware.
Yeah.
At first, I thought and the Hendersons, and then I realized Underground Railroad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one.
The screenwriter of Harriet claimed that a Hollywood executive wanted Harriet Tubman to be played by Julia Roberts. No, I swear to you, it's a real thing. We thought it was a joke at first.
It's like The Onion.
We thought it was the end, and we checked. It's a verified story, but actually, I think here at Louder with Crowder, we've obtained an exclusive early trailer.
Oh.
Big mistake. Big. Huge.
I just went out there and performed sexual favors. 634 blowjobs in 5 days. Before you come back here with another lame-ass offer, I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth, Mr. Walker. It's my dialysis.
That's not your name.
I'm gonna be slinging pizza for the rest of my life.
What can I say?
An incredible actress.
That's fantastic. What a
her,
great call.
her scope is as big as her mouth. It's amazing. It's incredible.
I still have a crush on Tinkerbell from Hook.
Yeah, well, why not?
Because the idea was someone who, you could just fit in your back pocket, and at that point, you could be in a movie theater. Switching to impeachment news. Also, Candy Diaz in The Mask. As a kid. Yeah, and I was really upset when they replaced Kim Basinger in the first Batman with, I wasn't allowed to see the second one because it was too racy.
Oh, wow.
So the next thing I saw was Nicole Kidman in Batman Forever. I'm like, what, they replaced Kim Basinger with a ginger?
Terrible.
Right away I realized I didn't want that recessive gene tainting my pool. So
because that was ever an option.
Going to impeachment news, things are heating up obviously between CNN and President Trump, and we'll get back to it. But the network, they announced that they recently hired a powerhouse legal duo in their suit against the president.
Oh, wow.
And of course, the media has been in a tailspin over this reaction. The powerhouse legal duo, and we actually have a reaction from President Trump, exclusive. I think is it an audio phone call from the White House? Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, Pence. Yes, Mr. President. I want you to write up a new law. That's not exactly... Okay, I saw that CNN, frankly, is sending some, quote, powerhouse legal team after me. Okay? Now, to me, Pence, this, truthfully, really dilutes the word powerhouse. Why do you... Excuse me. So, I want to use my executive power to further dilute the word powerhouse as much as legally possible. And how would you like to do that? Excuse me, I'm getting to that, okay, Pence? President, Vice President. Okay, so from now on, every house in America, I want to be legally called a powerhouse. Okay, and the song Brick House by the Commodores will henceforth be called Brick Powerhouse. So you're... Okay, also, the Ronald McDonald Children's Houses will be called the Ronald McDonald Power Children's Houses. Halfway houses will be called Halfway Powers, and battered women's shelters will be called Powerful Women Shelters. So you're saying excuse me, from now on, the White House is also to be referred to as the as the house that we'll come back to it, but you catch my drift. Okay, now you can talk.
Sometimes
it's so awkward.
Sometimes I just wish you would pick up the phone and tweet.
I know. Yeah. You just have the tweet, voice to tweet
himself out of that hole. Also, coming out of the White House this week, Donald Trump hosted a screening of Joker. This was big news.
Love that movie.
This comes from Yahoo. Trump screened the movie for family, friends, and some staff, and liked the film.
Yeah.
The screening was cut short, however, because Dr. Ben Carson wouldn't stop yelling at the screen. So that was.
Oh my God.
Robert De Niro, he's gonna shoot you. Stop it, Dr. Carson. He hasn't seen the rest of the film. He wouldn't know. That's why I'm just trying to be helpful.
I know. I'm actually surprised they heard
stabbed my
him.
mom in the belt buckle.
Oh my gosh. Surprised they even had heard the guy. Come on,
I know.
no way.
I'm not listening to you, Gerald Morgan, Jr. Where's Gerald C. coming in?
He's on order.
No.
I've hacked Amazon. He will never come in.
Okay. In international news.
I get that second order out there.
Because this is an international show. Prince Andrew claimed that a photo of him with Jeffrey Epstein's underage sex slave couldn't be him. And this was his actual defense because, quote, he doesn't hug. So that's right, folks. When it comes to love languages, Prince Andrew prefers child rape.
Apparently. Oh, my gosh. And by the way,
it's really an addendum to the 5. It's the 6th love language.
Largely overlooked.
Really.
The secret 6.
It should be.
Yeah.
And the way he said it was so awkward. He's like, I'm not one to, as it were, hug.
Right.
All I feel like that is an admission that he just skips the foreplay and goes straight to the raping.
Well, but then he said...
that's it. He doesn't say, I didn't do it. He just said, I definitely didn't take the photo because I didn't hug. I would have just jumped right into bed with her.
Little Tommy Tibble is like, could you at least get me a juice box for crying out loud? Libby's juice. It's 100% juice for 100% kids. And the rape is painful. So stop it. Stop. It is. You're saying it's not painful?
Geez.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
Terrible.
He likes
Terrible.
I don't accept your
Prince
premise.
Andrew was also accused. You don't have to accept it because my name's in the ledger. Prince Andrew was also. Let's have a lower chyron for G. Morgan Jr. just as serial pedophile.
Oh, come on.
Fanny pack
not
wearer
true.
of fanny packs.
I think that's illegal.
That would have been his
Bill?
plan.
Fanny
Bill?
pack.
I am Gerald Morgan III,
not-
wearer of fanny packs.
It's not defamation.
I've
if
never
it's
worn
true.
a fanny pack in my life.
Prince,
Except
he
for
takes
last
it
year.
seriously. This
Yes,
is why
he
he's
does.
like, I don't wear fanny packs. He's like, no, I said you wear fanny packs.
As he slowly drags his shirt down over his waist.
And I'm like throwing it down on the ground. Not
Like,
mine.
no.
By the way, Prince Andrew also recently was accused of using the N-word.
Oh.
Prince Andrew
That's
denied
gonna
the
be awkward.
charges,
Wow.
but hopes the accusations will distract from all the child rape.
Yeah.
Seems to be. It's a wonderful ploy, by the way. I don't know if you know this. That's what they do to throw off the scent
Yeah.
because people are more concerned about being called a racist than a pedophile. Did you, like Paula Dean? Huge child rapist.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, did you know
That
that?
Dog the
explains
Bounty
that.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Dog the Bounty Hunter? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Major child rapist.
Papa John's?
Yes.
Kramer?
Big time.
Yeah.
Kramer? Kramer had a child rape dungeon in a pedophile castle.
Oh,
yeah. It was. What about me, nigga? Okay, I see what you're doing, Michael Jackson.
Whoa.
That's not.
Saying I say nigga all the time.
No, you don't.
That was my thing.
That wasn't your thing at all. That wasn't his thing. That's
No,
not what he was known for.
Michael.
You were known for. I mean,
Well, it should. I was a horrible racist.
no, that's not really the major gripe against you. It was that
When we say that,
I don't know what's happening right now.
is
With
he
that. He's-
sensing?
I just don't want my legacy tarnished.
Whoa, okay, that's enough. Oh, wait,
Michael.
Michael Jackson.
Michael.
Wow.
Happens.
Come on.
Disgusting.
We're a legend.
once
What
in a
what's
while.
happened to you?
Trying to throw us off the scent. Brad Pitt and Adam Sandler revealed in a recent interview, by the way, the lengths they go to avoid being recognized.
Oh, yeah.
Their methods include
Stop it.
wearing sunglasses, pulling down their baseball caps, and not being in anything good for the last 15 years.
Oh, my God. That does help.
Yeah,
Look, I
that's
will
fair.
disagree. Adam Sandler, yes. But not my guy. Not Brad Pitt.
Baloney. Punch drunk
guy.
love.
Where was he in Moneyball?
I always like it when you
Come
take
on.
jokes seriously.
I'm telling you.
I'm a big fan of that.
I fight you over movies.
Can you imagine if Paul Schaefer were like, no, Dave, that's not statistically accurate. Technically, it was 82%. You'd be like, stop.
Son of a gun.
Stop.
That's
What if just
I
Ed
do.
McMahon was like, that is statistically incorrect, sir.
So
Just
that's
shows
what
up
I
with
sound
just
like.
shows up with a big check and it's just blank. Like, this isn't the actual check. It's merely symbolic.
You can't deposit this. Just let you know.
try to
Makes for great
deposit
TV.
Surprised
Adam
I still
Sandler.
have a job.
The sad thing is Adam Sandler is such a good actor and so much crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Well, he gets paid a lot of money to do the crap,
Well,
apparently.
he pays himself money.
Does he?
I am familiar with
makes
this
the
practice. Also, by the way, before we get to impeachment, and Donald Trump is the first black president, and I really do want to know if you think that there's a valid argument to be made. I'll make it. Some Middle Eastern countries have purchased killer robots from China.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
That will, quote, leave every human dead. This comes from the Daily Star. By the way, you notice everything's daily?
Yeah, it's true.
It's never like the bi-weekly bugle.
The every other day, maybe.
Yeah, it's
Star.
the when we feel like it.
Yeah.
The once in a blue
Herald.
moon
Yeah.
Tribune.
Yes. It's the we're going out of business
Yeah.
post. The fear is this comes from Daily Star, these fully autonomous robots could have dire results with the machines able to decide who lives and dies. So that's
God.
your next concern.
Autonomous.
Move aside Japanese killer beat. We have Chinese killer robots, effectively the worst Terminator reboot yet.
Oh
Go to Bill. Go to Bill.
I liked it.
That he was
I
like-
liked it. I thought for a second that was me in the photo. I'm still not sure. It might be me.
I need your bike, your boots, and your rice petty hat.
Hey, what do you think we're making all these iPhones for, guys?
Oh, my gosh.
Boom.
That's awesome.
All gone at
I
once.
can't believe that.
Come with me if you want to do math.
Or play the
Finally,
Colin, can I just correct the record, though?
Yeah.
I'm not a math Asian.
You're
so
not.
I just need to
Wait.
clear the record on that
but you
joke.
play violin, and isn't violin a very mathematical
I do, but
instrument?
I also know how to drive. It's a very confusing thing. Like,
I thought math Asians were like the whole thing.
They can do the math
Yeah.
until it's a gear shift. Like 1, 5, go from 1 to 5. I blew
Yeah.
the clutch.
yeah, that's
I
actually
didn't even
true.
know.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Climbing
You learn
on-
something
I just
new
want to
every
make
day.
sure that we're clear on the record.
Yeah.
on that, okay?
Climbing on trees
We're good.
and
We got you.
That's a crouching tiger. Crouching tiger, hidden dragon.
I got you.
They were running.
Ang Lee followed that one up with the Hulk. So good for you, Ang Lee.
Great filmmaker.
Good for you. You finally got one. Finally, a cat was put in solitary confinement for freeing other cats from a Texas shelter. The measure was necessary after security camera footage showed Quilty the cat jumping up and pulling the handle down on the cat room door.
That's awesome.
So he was a real problem for the shelter. Sadly for Quilty, the security cameras briefly malfunctioned. We do have a screenshot from. I know.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? That's not the worst. That cat used the N-word.
Oh.
Yes.
I said the nigga word all time.
Okay.
I use the word.
You're just trying to replace the song
highly
with the
offensive.
N-word
Not
Thriller.
really.
I see what you're doing there.
The original lyrics when I wrote it.
No, it wasn't.
I was staring at the nigga in the mirror.
I think he's laying it on too thick.
Yeah.
I think Michael, it goes to Michael Jackson. We've had enough of
It
this.
don't matter if you're a nigga or white.
Well, that one's actually kind of in line with what he, but only a
Billie
racist.
Jean is not my nigga.
Okay, I think we've had enough. If that's all you want to do. Okay, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, I do like
Michael
how Ghost Michael Jackson is the same color as alive Michael Jackson.
Yes, it's very similar.
Yeah, it's very close.
Didn't have to change. He was preparing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you lose your hood pass or at what point that happens.
I think so.
But apparently he still thinks that he has it.
Yeah, he does.
Remember he tried to claim that happened because he was allergic to sunlight? Remember that?
Right.
This
Yes.
is I have a skin condition. I'm allergic to sunset.
Really? How do you fix it? Percocet, bitch! It's like, that's not how this works.
little boys.
I'm pretty sure you don't fix a sun allergy with Percocet.
Now you can try.
And he didn't, when he dangled that baby out of the window, everyone was like, oh, did you see how he held that baby out of the balcony? No, the story is not that he held the baby out of the balcony. The story is that he put it in the camel clutch position, hanging it out of the balcony like it was a Cabbage Patch.
Well, and almost dropped it.
Yes.
And killed it.
Oh, but I didn't have a childhood. Well, okay, free pass.
Victims.
Guess that works.
That's right.
Trivia contest winner. You want to read it there, G. Morgan Jr.?
Chris O'Neill. Oh, come on.
Okay, go quarterback.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Fine.
I heard the G and
Sorry.
I just jumped in.
That's okay. I know how you like giving away free stuff. No, I mean, he likes giving away free stuff.
No, he likes stealing
It's a nice thing.
Stop it.
from me.
Whoa! Let's bring up a lower chyron that says racist and fanny pack wear for G. Morgan Jr.
Thank you.
Go ahead and read
a long chyron.
Chris O'Neill wins for answering the question for
Wow.
I hate you.
This is why I bring paint
Answer the
flips
question for
into
South by
every
Southwest
live show.
with this visual aid.
There we go.
I feel like I have AIDS after that setup.
Nailed it.
That was
One for
That
me.
setup was the literary equivalent of George Michael in a Los Angeles rest stop.
I'll get through one of these eventually, I swear.
And all of a sudden the focus is off me.
He is going to be in a Terrence Howard film where like a white coach inspires him to swim and read properly.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, you can do it. You
Man,
can
it
do
doesn't matter
son.
what side of the tracks you're from.
I grew up in a
Side
nice
stroke.
home, though.
All right.
Hey, my people laid those tracks for you, man.
They did.
Go,
It was good.
go, go.
They did.
Teamwork makes the
They
dream
did.
work.
They laid the foundation for you. I have no idea. This has gone a very dark place.
It has.
So let's go. Let's really quick. Let's go to the hearings. A quick recap of the hearings here, the impeachment, because we have to talk about this. So again, the media's been breathlessly covering impeachment hearings with one bombshell witness after another.
Right.
If by bombshell you mean disingenuous, limp chode. I just want to make sure that I'm clear. It's and by
it's
the
a
way,
better
that's
description.
that's an accomplishment. It's hard for a chode to be limp.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
just it's a physics thing.
It's a physics
if it's-
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a
Dumpy
lot of
enough.
mass.
There's no hang.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday, it was Alexander Vindman. He was a U.S. Army officer. Now, here's what you've heard. You've heard that he's a high-ranking government official handpicked by Trump to help lead the quid pro quo sort of conspiracy until his conscience couldn't allow him to do any more, that he was being complicit. So he came forward with his first-hand information of the president's wrongdoings. That's what's been covered.
Sounds good, right?
The truth is that his own supervisors testified they had concerns about his judgment, his being a potential leaker, that he didn't respect the chain of command, and he himself admitted the Ukrainians never mentioned any pressure from President Trump or this administration. Lest you think I make this up, let's do what the Young Turks and Seth Meyers don't, an accurate clip.
I asked you, Mr. Morrison, whether others raised the concern that Colonel Vindman may have leaked information.
You did ask that, yes.
Yeah, and your answer was?
Others had represented that, yes.
Okay. And I asked you whether you were concerned Colonel Vindman did not keep you in the loop at all times with his official duties?
Yes.
And in fact,
the most entertaining part of this has been duty.
The National Security Council lawyers following the July 25th call, he did not first come to you. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you were his supervisor in the chain of command, correct?
Correct.
Did you ever hear from any Ukrainians, either in the United States
guy looks
or
like he
Ukraine,
wakes up puffy,
about any pressure that they felt?
I didn't get my beauty sleep
to
for the
do
last
these investigations
3
that
decades.
President Trump
Wait,
demanded?
is Vindman the PC guy?
Oh.
Not that I can recall.
He's being interrogated by Justin Long.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't know about it?
I'm so glad someone else understands what's going on with this whole thing, because it's so dull to me. I have no idea.
Your mistake there is that you think anyone understands what's going on. The problem here, and this is the truth is, the reason we don't want to do this segment, there's nothing new from the last time we did an impeachment segment. This is what's important to note. There is no new information. It's rehashing information that has already been made available to the public. Largely, there's some small tidbits here and there, but you need to know these people have not come forward with first-hand information that has blown this wide open. No. They're coming forward to talk about anonymous third-hand information as well, so we keep rehashing it. I hate that I even have to talk about it, but we do, because otherwise people will accuse us of not doing our job. The fact is, I am robbing you of your time. If you're watching this in archive, fast forward the next 5 minutes, because you don't need to know any of this shit.
Well, the last time I checked, if something was a bombshell revelation or a bombshell witness, they actually had something to say. None of these people have anything to say.
Or we call it a gate. If it means something, it gets a gate. It's impeachment gate.
Impeachment gate or whatever. The only thing this guy
grabbing by the
is a jerk.
It's zipper gate. It's wiener gate, right? This isn't even a gate. It hasn't even reached gate status.
Yeah, no. I mean, Matt Lauer's button gate. I mean, none of these. Yeah, none of these.
Do it
things.
live gate? I don't know.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Is that it? I thought you had more to say.
No.
Okay.
I never do.
So anyway, I want to be clear, by the way, Vindman admitted that he leaked lest you think they were like, well, you know what, we were concerned that Vindman didn't respect chain of command and he might be a potential leaker. It's like, well, where'd you get that from? He admitted that he leaked contents of the Ukraine call to people outside the White House. And when he was asked who, he started to respond, only to be interrupted by good old Schiff in a clip that, by the way, I can only describe as, I hope you actually, if you fast forwarded, I guess now, unless you have a time machine, I would say come back, because this clip is worth it. Adam Schiff interrupts in a clip that I can only describe as perfect.
As you know, the intelligence community has 17 different agencies. What agency was this individual from?
If I could interject here, we don't want to use these proceedings.
It's our time.
I know, Chair, but we need to protect the whistleblower. Please stop. I want to make sure that there's no effort to out the whistleblower through the use of these proceedings.
Well, hold on a second.
Jeez.
Do I get to ask any question at all? No, not unless I'm reading from a fake transcript, which I then say is parody. You've thrown me so off my game. He really looks like the PC guy.
He does.
Bill Richmond.
I know, sorry.
Now, would that be considered that line of, was that outing a whistleblower? Is that guy out of bounds asking?
Well, what was the question? The question was what agency did they work for?
Right.
I guess it's one of those agencies that only has one employee. So when you identify the name of it, it tells you who the whistleblower is.
Right.
No, it was clearly an attempt to cover up the tracks of who actually was known about this, when did they know about it, who was back channeling who.
Well, and what access they had to information.
Yeah, exactly.
The federal government is known for streamlining agencies.
Right.
They
single employee.
You know what no government employee has ever heard when they've been laid off? Downsizing. That's never happened. It's usually like you failed your 4th piss test, okay?
Yeah.
And by the way, you're the only person I even know who enjoys salvia.
Oh my gosh. But Bill, I have a question for you. The chairman basically made his own rule and said in the beginning that they would not out the name of the whistleblower.
Sure.
Right? And then the lawyer cited the chairman's rule to say that his client didn't have to answer that question.
This is, and at the risk of
real?
People will take this clip, and I want to piggyback onto what you just said, because it sounds incredibly ignorant, but I'm going to throw my lot in with you because I'm ignorant as well, because this is not a criminal investigation, right?
Right.
But here's the thing, how does that work? It's not a criminal investigation, so but they're subpoenaing people, right?
Yes.
So they can subpoena people. So it seems like they follow half rules, but not the full rules.
Well,
and I don't understand.
The reason is because the congressional hearings fall in either the completely criminal or completely civil. So even if you were to say, oh, okay, you've been accused of a crime, the fundamental question is it a state court crime or is it a federal crime? But then when you get to impeachment, it's just wrongdoing. There's specific language there in the Constitution, but it's not limited to just crimes or civil liability. In fact, it doesn't have to be either of those. So here, the person who is in charge of the committee under the deference and the rules that are typically done in these kinds of hearings, they're getting to set some of the rules. I mean, the whistleblowers.
They're rigging the hearings.
Well, that's because they're using the criminal standard for whistleblower. Because right in criminal hearings, like there's a right to anonymity, but not right now in investigation. But then they're still using the power to subpoena people.
Correct.
So I don't.
The legal term for that is cherry picking.
Exactly.
And or stacking the deck. I think is the
believe
other,
it is,
yeah, somewhere in Black's Law Dictionary.
Tipping the scales of justice.
Right. Just putting one little fist on the scale on one side. Yeah.
It's just Schiff is dancing on the Statue of Liberty's grave.
Oh.
She's not dead. She's not actually
Not
dead.
yet.
All right. The Star Witness Wednesday. Okay.
So glad to hear that.
U.S. Ambassador to the EU. It was Gordon Sondland. And again, I know I'm rehashing some of this, but it's just for anyone who doesn't know, this is pretty much everything that you need to know, and I hate to have to cover it.
Everything.
So Sondland admitted he had never heard anything from Trump tying aid to any investigation. The idea of quid pro quo was entirely his own assumption.
What?
I don't recall President Trump ever talking to me about any security assistance, ever.
Is that your testimony today, Ambassador Sondland, that you have evidence that Donald Trump tied the investigation to the aid? Because I don't think you're saying that.
I've said repeatedly, Congressman, I was presuming. I also said that President Trump...
So no one told you, not just the president. Giuliani didn't tell you, Mulvaney didn't tell you, nobody, Pompeo didn't tell you, nobody else on this planet told you that Donald Trump was tying aid to these investigations. Is that correct?
I think I already testified.
No, answer the question. Is it correct? No one on this planet told you that Donald Trump was tying this aid to the investigations? Because if your answer is yes, then the chairman's wrong and the headline on CNN is wrong. No one on this planet told you that President Trump was tying aid to investigations. Yes or no?
Yes.
I didn't know the sponge was supposed to be wet. I mean, it's just so
Oh my gosh.
It's right. The headline at CNN.
Terrible,
This is the problem: is you can't put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
CNN runs with. I don't have all of the headlines in front of me, but I remember we were doing a Change My Mind, and so when I do that, I'm very much in a focus mode, so I don't get to read the news, and I try to catch up as much as possible. And the headlines made it seem initially as though there was new exclusive information that people were privy to. They were firsthand. No.
I did the same thing. Every day I go and I look and I'm like, okay, if there is a real bombshell, the first place that someone's going to pull it out would be CNN. So I go look and you click through every link that has a brazen, incredible title, and you click through and you're like, okay, surely there'll be more beneath this, Hope Diamond commercial ad. Okay, well, below this
the one with crying Oprah on the treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. You got all these just ad. Okay, and I get to the end of the article and I'm like, oh, I don't see, there's nothing. Well, let me go back to the title. Okay, no, the title, no, there's not actually any facts here.
And then it's like 25 child celebrities who are dead. I'm like, Macaulay Culkin died? And I click it. It's like, well, I knew Corey Haim.
Come on.
Clickbait.
So you saw the yes, right? The yes had quotes around it.
Yeah.
This is what I figured out. They're actually, CNN is using, instead of real quotes, to quote someone, they're using air quotes.
Air quotes.
It's not because he didn't say that.
It's just Brian Stelter walking by the editor of the online department going, oh, just do some of that.
It'll work. Just a little bit.
Just put that on there. We're golden.
But how with that crown down there that says yes, that there was quid pro quo, how are you supposed to know what's real? Because the guy on the screen was saying the exact opposite of that. Right. And yet CNN is running that headline every single time.
This is important since we already have the direct transcript right from the Zelensky call. We know what happened at the root, the heart of the exchange between Trump. Okay. All of his testimony is about other conversations revolving around that key info, which has been public for weeks, and not a single one could say that Trump said a single thing ever about quid pro quo. That's important to note. Sure, there can be conjecture. There are things that will come out that are unflattering toward President Trump, absolutely. But not one person could point to an example of Trump directly saying anything about quid pro quo. Right. It's just hearsay and rehashed info.
It is, and it seems like the Democratic strategy here is just basically to try to grab some headlines to rile their base up in time for an election. And that's it, because this isn't going anywhere. If it goes to the Senate bill, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not going anywhere.
Well, it actually is going somewhere because polls show that support for the impeachment investigation has dropped 2 points.
There you go.
Since the beginning. And opposition to it, in favor of Trump went up by 3 points, and his overall approval rating has gone up. So think about that for a second, because it's not exactly the same thing as Barack Obama. The media is clearly left. They're controlling everything, pushing this impeachment narrative. Like we just talked about, the headlines and fake air quotes.
Right. Yeah.
But still, fewer Americans than ever want impeachment than when you guys started. This is not going to end well for you. And that's why I always said, please go ahead with impeachment. They thought it was going to be a Tanya Harding situation. They're hamstringing themselves.
No.
It's getting worse for them. And why are they so desperate to discuss impeachment? Well, I think it's because they want to maybe take the focus off the economy, which is booming, particularly for the POCs, the people of color. I want to use the proper terms. Think about it. That's always, whenever Barack Obama was president, they wanted to talk about the improvements of the economy. You've heard time and time again, it's the economy, stupid.
Yeah.
I'll get to why we have the best economy ever, and now it's like, it's not so much the economy, that's stupid is what they're trying to sell you. But first, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed, please, because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot. Notifications let you know when new videos go up. Of course, we have a new video every day, live stream on Thursday. And Mug Club is how we keep this going because we are not monetized on YouTube. So from actual viewers like you, and we don't even have to do a Jerry's Kids telethon.
Oh, that's good.
We don't have to have a kid come out with, the hook hand.
Oh.
If you just buy the mug, you get access to a whole daily show, the entire Blaze catalog, louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. And I need to reiterate, next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we are doing the Epstein did not kill himself live stream. We have actually recreated the entire prison cell to exact specifications, and I will be attempting to kill myself with paper bed sheets. This is real. Monday.
This is bipartisan.
At 8 p.m. Eastern.
It is.
Okay.
A lot of people could tune in for that.
So let's get to the economy. If we turn and we look at the economy, okay? It's going really well for all Americans.
Yeah, very.
But black Americans specifically. And I want to make sure that we understand this. Well, first off, before I get to it, President Trump recently launched the Black Voices for Trump coalition from Atlanta, and he's caught some flack for it.
What do you prefer, blacks for Trump or African Americans for Trump? I think so.
That's awesome.
I can't blame him.
Nope.
I can't. There's cheering your name, President Trump. Careful. I thought when someone might throw a shoe. That was great when George W. Bush was bobbing and weaving the shoes. It's probably his single greatest accomplishment.
It really
was amazing.
Was the shoe dodging.
Throwing up at the table, not so much.
And I understand this. This is something important. When people discuss the economy, and I know Audio Wade, you said this, and I think Quarter Black Garrett, the economics often get boring.
Yeah.
And this is why I think a lot of people don't necessarily have a good handle on it. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. It is important to contrast with other presidents, particularly the previous president, right?
Yeah.
That does matter so that you have some kind of scale to understand it, okay? So I want to make sure that I frame these numbers, hopefully in a way that makes it understandable, because sometimes people say, well, wages have gone up and they don't account for inflation. Everything that I present to you here right now tries to account for those variables, so I give you the most accurate information possible. I'm not a regular Thomas Sowell, but I definitely try to harder than Samantha Bee, so you're welcome.
There you go. Yeah.
So under President Trump, okay, we've had the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years.
Wow.
Record number of workers returning to the workforce. We have very high labor force participation rate. Worker layoffs hit a 20-year low this year. Okay, wage growth just hit a 10-year high, despite all of the models predicting the opposite. And it appears that it's going to keep accelerating. And by the way, this is important because we've done an entire segment on why the average hourly earnings or hourly wage is not the most accurate barometer to use, but you should actually use average individual wages. Because basically a fillet of fish being made 10 years ago, when accounting for inflation, isn't really worth more today as a job. But people tend to make more money, and that's been consistently on the rise for a long time. But right now, we are using their measurements. So what I'm saying is growth, people making a fillet of fish are actually making more hourly when adjusted for inflation today than they were 5 years ago. Using the lowest possible common denominator. All right, let's just look. Is someone making a fillet of fish? Did he get the order wrong in 1986? Did he get the order wrong today? 5% raise.
Wait, what? Still delicious.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
No,
Do you like the
it's
fillet of fish?
Oh, man.
Oh,
you guys thought my bad
funky.
taste was only in movies?
Nope.
You were wrong.
It covered a spectrum.
Jeez. I guess in Hong Kong, it's the only thing you can trust.
Oh, my God.
It's right there. It's an island.
Do you want fillet of fish? I'm like, oh, God, unless the next words out of his mouth are century egg, the answer is no. It's century egg.
It's century
Give me
egg.
the fillet of fish. Oh, no, he's bringing a spider monkey next to the table with a vice grip. Shit.
Hey, that's just my helper.
What the hell is happening here?
Okay. And by the way, do you not, in case you've forgotten about this is why the scale matters, the contrast. Do you remember how the media covered the Dow dropping 800 points in a day?
Man.
I do.
It's a brutal session on Wall Street today. The Dow having its worst day of the year and crossing below its 200-day moving average for the first time in more than 2 months.
And new
By the way,
fears that
that's
the
comparing it to Donald Trump's
10-year-old
previous low,
expansion
which is still record high.
We got a warning sign today in the form of a government bond.
up.
The interest rate on that bond dropped to levels that have been a reliable indicator that a recession
Other
is
than they're
coming. Now
not.
that had investors
Not
dumping
fear-mongering at
stock.
all.
No,
Look at this.
no, not
The
at
Dow
all.
fell more than 3%.
It was a wild day out there, as it looks like we are finally seeing some panic set into the market. So are things going to get worse before they get better? Is this a dip you buy? What do you do?
It was the number one trend everywhere. Remember that day?
Yeah.
This week, the Dow topped 28,000 for the first time in ever, and the media covered it's the equivalent to crickets humping. There's nothing out there covering the fact that we are hitting record high. We had a short blip, but I love how they go, which is the lowest since 2 months ago.
Right.
Really? Who was president 2 months ago? And is that still higher than 6 years ago?
He's crossed. He owns milestones 20,000 through 28,000. I feel like he gets a plaque for each one he gets. And he's like, yeah, throw it over there with the rest of them. Like he's killing
Put it in
it.
a pile.
And these guys won't let him have a win.
Instead, they're talking about they're bringing out lower level military officers whose superiors were saying, we think they might be leakers. Admit that they're leakers, and then go out and say, by the way, no, I don't have anything new. No one told me quid pro quo. I just think Donald Trump's a dick. That's what they're covering.
Exactly.
Instead of the best economy we've ever had. And the only thing I can remember getting less media coverage was the follow-up to the Las Vegas shooter. Am I the only one who thinks about that?
Yes.
Still nothing?
Yeah. Nothing. I don't think nothing.
Does anyone else ever think about it? I think about it all the time.
Yeah.
You always wonder what you only really hear about it when it's the anniversary of the concert, or like occasionally there'll be something about like the victims themselves, but there's nothing about the shooter. There's nothing about the event.
It is the most deadly public mass shooting in modern memory that took place at a country western concert.
Yep.
And there's no info. We have info about everyone. We have info about the what was it? The people in California there. I don't want to say Muslims who used a van. What was the name? Starts with an S. Starts with an S. I just forgot about it. It was a valley. There's always a valley something.
San Bernardino Valley.
San Bernardino.
Sorry.
And if I'm not mistaken, that one was mostly a foiled plot. Like, obviously, it wasn't nearly as deadly as Vegas.
No.
All lives matter. I'm not belittling it, but my point is we know nothing. Imagine if they did that with like the Unabomber. Like, there's some guy with a couple of Mentos and a Diet Coke bottle. The f***'s the difference? Who cares? Let's move on.
Oh, my gosh. Other cameras not working at a casino? Really?
I have no idea.
Have any views on this guy?
Apparently they were installed by the Jeffrey Epstein watch team.
Yeah, the crew.
Yeah.
Very easy to turn off.
They're just so tired, those guys, you know.
Yeah.
I'm so sleepy. I just have to go on Twitter. And Pornography Hub. What about
.com.
What about the account? Don't plug them.
What do you have, a T-shirt on under there? You're gonna rip your shirt open, Superman?
Sponsored.
Well, they actually covered it and said that the guards were fuddling
porn?
around. Well, they were on the internet browsing.
Using the N-word? Is this cover for
they're
Jeffrey
guards
Epstein
at
now?
They're guards at 3 in the morning, okay?
Good Lord.
I don't think they're at cigar bid. So what
Fine
about
line
the
for
economy,
me.
though,
Specific joke
specifically? What about the economy specifically for black Americans? Surely that has worsened under racist President Trump. Now, keep in mind, again, when we contrast it, that black wealth took a huge nosedive under President Obama. That's important. Under President Obama, household income didn't do well for any races, but especially black Americans. Under President Trump, black household incomes are up $2,000 since 2016. Keep in mind, under Barack Obama, the overall wage increase for all Americans, not black Americans, was around $1,000.
Wow.
So
he's
black
at least
Americans
twice as good.
are doing twice as better as far as improvement when you adjust for scale since 2016 than the entirety of President Obama. And black unemployment, all-time record lows. Most recently hit an all-time low in September. The previous all-time low, CNN will like this, also under Trump, May 2018.
Nice.
But what they cover is in April, they go, black unemployment has risen, in June, black unemployment has risen for the first time since May of last month.
Exactly. When we hit an all-time low, it's like he's piling on with all these economic awards, and he's doing exactly what he said he would do. And people said he couldn't accomplish this. When he did tariffs on China, it's going to crash the economy. Didn't crash the economy, right? When he starts passing all of these things that we're talking about right now, it's helping everybody.
Well, I think
What's the fear now?
This is important to note because since taking office, some people will try and claim that it's an accident, and I'm going to rebut that pretty thoroughly here. Either he's a complete idiot or he's an evil genius. And the fact that they've been trying to make so much stick from Russia to Ukraine to again, Russian prostitutes peeing on vinyl couches. I mean, take your pick. Dishonest business dealings, and nothing has stuck. I'm going to lean toward evil genius if I have to pick one. Okay. Since taking office, it's not an accident. President Trump has invested in specifically, this is from his website, distressed communities. He's promoted minority-owned businesses. He's made supporting historically black colleges, universities a key priority for his administration. And Trump's opponents will, what they'll often say is they'll say he's just riding Obama's coattails. First off, this is the important point. Trump's policies, President Trump's policies, haven't been a continuation of Obama's. No. They've been a complete reversal, okay? Exactly. So Obama blacks did horribly, black Americans did horribly. President Trump comes in, reverses policy, tax cuts, right? Business incentives, cuts red tape, deregulation. He didn't continue what Obama did, aside from spending, and I have a problem with that. A little bit, But the economic policy has been a total reversal, and now we have good fortune. Secondly, if Trump is riding the expected Obama wave, as they're now claiming, then why did all of the experts claim that it would be completely impossible for President Trump to see the economic growth that he predicted? Lest you doubt me, I have receipts. Remember, Obama claimed himself that President Trump couldn't create new jobs, which is just, looking back, such a stupid thing to say. Like, you could hedge it, like, I don't think Donald Trump will be great at making as many jobs as he says. He said no, he said he couldn't create new jobs. And then he asked him where the magic wand was. In 2017, all of the economic gurus laughed. Remember, 3% growth. This is how delusional President Trump administration would be. He thinks it's even possible for there to be 3% growth. Let's go to the receipts.
When somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for.
I do not miss the
Bill he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how is
it's
that?
pornography hub.
Yes.com.
Oh my God.
There's no answer to it. He just says, "Well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal." Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
Found it.
Oh gosh. In some ways, I worry that he might actually go with his original tax plan, with the trillions of dollars of lost revenue. And
it wasn't.
At the moment, inflation is the least of our problems, but if you work at it, we could have a hyperinflation.
I love that I can accurately describe a white guy without getting in trouble as a spider monkey with a beard.
Budget constraints for losers.
You can make me total dictator.
Come on.
And do everything I believe would work, and it still wouldn't get
Picture him on 34th Street in a funny hat.
Oh my God.
He looks like old McLovin. Am I wrong? I mean,
on point with the references, man.
Wow.
By the way, 2018, the United States economy somehow hit over 4% growth.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Like, what's he going to do? Wave his magic? Well, like, Barack Obama is so bad at anything economic, he couldn't even possibly comprehend
the possibility.
What's he going to do? Wave his magic wand? No, just not suck.
How about get out of the way?
I don't know. And what is he going to say to Donald Trump? This doesn't sound like a continuation of Obama's policies,
no,
right?
Not at all.
Because he would be trying to stack the deck in his favor, like, well, if he continues my policies, maybe I loosen the pickle jar for you, and you're going to have 3%. He's like, there's no way 3%. And Paul Krugman, this is how delusional. There's no way 3%. It's 4%. You didn't build that. Neither did you. Okay.
That's right. Exactly. I love it. But the implications. He's done all of this with the Democrats trying to take him out, literally take him out at every single turn. They're trying to impeach him for any and everything they can. They're trying to mess with his business dealings, and he's kept his focus long enough to do this. Obama couldn't handle it.
I think this is one of the things where when you compare the headlines, you have to dive beneath them.
Right.
Because if he's continuing the policies, then you would continue to see the results that were happening under Obama.
Right,
exactly.
But if you reverse the policies and you compare the headlines from one period to the next period, it's just like when you focus on an 800-point drop in a record-setting week.
Right.
You're not worried about percentages. You're not working about historical. You're just trying to get that sound bite. And these sound bites, when you put them side by side, show the falsity.
Appreciate you guys are all having great points, but we are going long today, and we have Alex Jones on the show. So, my God,
that's good.
It's going to have to be mostly web extended. So please join up at Mug Club. No, that's a really good point. It's a complete reversal, and people need to recognize that. And by the way, the other claims that they will make, they'll say, well, it's a continuation of Obama's policies. Of course, it's absolutely not. And then the other claim that they'll make that doesn't stand up is they say, well, the economy is doing better across the globe. Okay, sure it is. Not nearly as well as the United States. It's not even close. Sorry, Bernie. You can point to Denmark all you want, even though they think you're a dick for calling them socialist, and they're not. I just, none of the arguments hold up. If someone has what, great, comment below and see where you think maybe President Trump is just riding Barack Obama's coattails. Make the case. I don't think anyone can make that case. Change my mind, by the way, next week. Ooh, yeah. Another thing that's important, I think this is one, too. We've gone through the economy, but let's get to something that, is a little more personal.
Yeah.
President Trump passed criminal justice reform, a bill last year that helped nonviolent drug offenders be rehabilitated into society.
Good.
Right? And this is a middle ground. I think that prison should involve some form of punishment, and then you have places like Sweden where they get effectively an IKEA suite with an Xbox and a mocha pot.
But they have to put it together. That's the punishment.
Yeah. Well, not for them because they can read the Swedish instructions. It's punishment for Americans. Like, stupid American, make this with a belly full of meatballs. You. Sorry, we'll bleep it. I get very angry. I get very angry at IKEA.
We know.
Only place worse is Williams-Sonoma. Go to Mug Club to hear why I have a problem with that. I've had barkers in the streets of Turkey less aggressive than clerks at Williams-Sonoma. Oh, can I help you? And I want to stab you with this aisle of shiny things. I don't know how sharp they are yet, but I see you have a sharpener. Let me grab it. All right, miss with the Katie Lang haircut, you better start running. I'll give you a 10-second head start. Hope you like your f***ing pumpkin bark. Okay, let's go. I haven't had much sleep this week.
Take a breath.
Okay, so criminal justice reform. President Trump, he most famously pardoned, if you don't know this, you probably don't know this, well, you know this because you watch the show, but nobody else knows this, Alice Marie Johnson. She was in prison for life for marijuana possession. Here you go.
Alice Marie Johnson rushing into the arms of loved ones freed yesterday after 21 years in federal prison, sentenced to life on drug charges. Kardashian West lobbied the president on Ms. Johnson's behalf, and yesterday he commuted her sentence, citing her good behavior and rehabilitation, none of which would be especially controversial, except that it's part of a series of pardons and proposed pardons by the president that is raising questions on a number of fronts, including just exactly how the president is using one of the few absolute powers the president shares with kings.
What is Andy Cooper in the Cato Institute? Like, this really hold on a second. I understand the point, and it would be a valid argument to make. Like, half Asian Bill, you're more libertarian. If you said, I think it's a good thing that nonviolent drug offenders are now being allowed a second chance at life, but I am worried about the scope of the executive powers. But okay, that's a totally legitimate point.
Fair.
Anderson Cooper has never cared about that, and consistently bitches about how the racist Republican Party wants to disproportionately put blacks behind bars. President Trump uses, here's the thing, that's a great example of an executive order. You know what's not? Taking over a third of the American economy. Sorry, I think it's a fifth with healthcare. It's like, you know what? You know what? Listen, I think this bitch has done her time. Okay, I'll sign off on that. It's like, how dare you do that?
Exactly.
You know what? I'm going to take over a fifth of the economy and kill a bunch of doctors. Good for you, says Andy Cooper. I have to go back to my West Village apartment and have sex with a guy named Lyle as we slide down a greased-up fire pole with Crisco. I am so tired of them now. Just there's no consistency at all. I'll tell you, I'll get to this at the end. Okay, keep in mind, I'll go back to it. Keep in mind, even though President Trump, yes, he's been personally against marijuana, he's the one who signed the bill legalizing industrial hemp.
Yeah.
Where's your savior? The guy who deliberately inhaled in college and did crack with a domestic terrorist, convicted, mind you. He didn't do anything for you. He couldn't get you some CBD.
None.
President Trump was the one who did that. Now let's contrast this with frontrunner. I just love this clip because Quarterback Garrett was making a point before, which you have to. Vice President Joe Biden.
The truth of the matter is, there's not nearly been enough evidence that has been acquired as to whether or not it is a gateway drug. It's a debate, and I want a lot more before I legalize it nationally. I want to make sure we know a lot more about the science behind it.
And you know, it's really hard now because they're using odorless vape pens.
I don't think he knew the camera's on the other side.
Camera. That's like the third time he's done that, right? Where he back to camera, walking away.
What do you need to cover the camera in a light bright?
Look here. That's where the camera's okay.
Yeah, he just can't.
And by the way, I don't disagree with what Biden just said, that we need more science. And I think, and I've talked about this, the more science comes in, I do think there are some medical uses for marijuana. I don't want kids eating a bunch of edibles and biting people's faces off when they have a chimpanzee on Vicodin with the clicker. But I do think
Shouldn't do that.
My opinion has changed on that quite a bit. All right. Anyway, the point is, everything that's bad about Donald Trump is these are things that they should be supporting. Criminal justice reform. When you look at what he's been doing for black Americans, it should be a good thing that the economy is doing well and black Americans are doing well. I'm happy that any Americans are doing well. Yeah. And this is why the media is desperate to cover impeachment. Things are undeniably better under President Trump. Not for everyone. And this is something, you know what, here's the thing. I understand, let me give you this. Donald Trump, I'm so glad that he's president. I remember so many conservatives were saying, oh, you know, if Donald Trump, I remember at Fox News when I was there. I can say this now. I don't. Can I say general things about Fox News since I worked there before?
I don't.
Okay, all right. He wasn't my lawyer. Back then it was Ben Shapiro. So Ben Shapiro, you might get a complaint. They would say, like, when President Trump is going to be, if he's in office or a Republican wins, it's going to be bad for us because the voice of opposition, we always do better in ratings. I never believed in that because I believe that the opposition, right, the establishment, the man is the media entertainment industrial complex, okay? They're the ones who control the narrative. But I'm so glad that President Trump is, because it allows us to be objective. Because you know what? I can say President Trump, kind of a dick, okay? I can say it. I have no problem saying it. You know that I mean it. But here's the thing. I don't really care that much. We don't know all previous... Taft might have been a total... We have no idea. Could have been banging the chambermaid. If Donald Trump does it, you should be, well, that's what he does. He bangs chambermaids. What do you want? That's his thing.
But the economy.
The economy, national security, opportunity. The things that matter are all better.
Yeah.
And they never talk about the things that matter in the media today, specifically as it relates to proactive actions to improve the lives of black Americans more than any other president to have come before him. And if you look at the list of all the presidents, and you go there on 44 and you see a little, like, you see a darker dot, you know, when you have those posters on the wall of all the presidents, like, what was that? Was that a black guy? Oh, I'm looking at the economic policy. Doesn't really seem to add up. This guy with the blonde pseudo toupee seems to be the Fresh Prince of Pennsylvania Avenue. That's why the media doesn't want to cover it, and they want to rehash impeachment proceedings. Don't expect me to talk about it anymore until there's something new, which will probably be a couple of months. Monday, we have a live stream. Epstein didn't kill himself at 8 p.m. Eastern. Alex Jones next. It might need to be a teaser.
Open your mind. Let us begin our quest to find the new sound.
Hi there. Did you decide you wanted to talk to Steven?
I just wanted to tell you, you're a white bitch. Whiteness is a cancer and parasitic to society.
Wait, what is a cancer?
What is cancer?
Wait, what?
White people.
White people are cancer?
Yeah, as a
Well,
collective.
I'm Italian, so it's olive, but I shouldn't
Yeah,
engage.
you're white. I'm actually quarter Japanese.
Oh, wow.
You know. Damn, good for you, man.
Racism.
You should have been there when they bombed us. White people are cancer. I hope you all die. Bye.
Watch this and more at our other channel, Crowder Bits.
You're an M&M. There's no point in wondering where your pockets are. Tasting smooth.
I never realized how nonsensical those lyrics are.
I mean,
you're an
yeah, that's a good
M&M.
point.
There's no sense in wondering where your pockets are.
Yeah, but if you're an M&M, there's no sense in wondering where your pockets are.
Well, why would an M&M have pockets? And if the M&M
He is
did
a
have
pocket.
pockets,
That's what the song is saying.
But if an M&M did have pockets, assuming that there are pockets, otherwise why mention it? Why would the fact that he's an M&M preclude you from wondering where the pockets are? I mean, I'd still want to know. I'd still want to know. All right, anyway, maybe our next guest knows. Our next guest, really glad to have him on the show, as I am also very tired, as you know, today. And usually he just takes the ball and runs with it, so my job is very easy. You know him, you follow him at InfoWarsStore.com is where you can go. And of course, Band.video is where you can find his content. Mr. Alex Jones, how are you, sir?
It's good to be here as we see the twilight of basic American liberties as we join Europe in butchering all of our basic cherished rights. And in many respects, Trump just stands idly by and is the guardian of the destruction of those liberties. I'm not an enemy of Trump. I'm a big supporter of Trump. It's just that this has gone beyond censorship. I mean, look at some of these articles.
Yeah, hold on.
Facebook
But before that,
post.
you lost some weight. We were just talking about that. You lost about 30 pounds.
Absolutely. I just basically quit drinking, and I also started religiously taking all of the supplements and working on it a little bit more. So I've lost about 30 pounds in the last 3 months.
Good for you. 30 pounds. That's like 3/4 of Justin Bieber. So you've got the Justin Bieber off your back. All right, but go back to, I know you had some documents there. And for people who are watching, we went over time, so this is going to have to be a little bit short, but we are going to have a very long web extended interview, which we'll release later. So continue with the destruction of America, Alex. I cut you off. I just wanted to congratulate you on the lost weight.
Well, thank you, sir. We're all trying to be more like Steven Crowder here. But seriously, I agree with you that government involvement in what corporations and companies and media do is bad. And we don't want a government coming in and censoring companies. But when companies get together as groups led by Tim Cook and others and say, we want to go after conservatives, we want to go after nationalists, and we're going to call Christian conservatives Nazis, we're going to call Stephen Miller a Nazi, and we're going to call for him to lose his job, this is a witch hunt like all the other witch hunts. And so now Apple gets told by the Chi-Coms, get rid of the Hong Kong and the Taiwanese emoji. And they did it. And then now it expands out from there. Facebook blocks post of Dems' support for border fence. Tucker Carlson did a video. We've all shown these videos of Obama and Hillary saying we need a border fence. We need to take people that are criminals and deport them. All this stuff. That shows that Trump's not a Nazi for saying, let's follow our law.
Right.
Well, now Facebook said, fact check that. Those aren't real videos. And put a strike against PragerU and block the video. Well, it turns out even PolitiFact that they linked to said it was a real video, but any idiot could watch it and know that. So now the next level is you can't show clips of Obama.
When you say a real video, you mean these are obviously real videos of Hillary Clinton and other presidents saying that, and PolitiFact and Facebook are saying that it's not?
Yes. No. The fact checkers even said it was true, but Facebook linked to it saying, look, this says it's not true, when they said it was totally true, even though these fact checkers have been proven to be very partisan, like Snopes and others. But exactly. But all I'm saying is, it's not just ban Alex Jones and his videos off platforms. It's now moved to don't show that emoji. Right. And the OK symbol is white supremacist. And now the fist bump can't be used. And it's official ADL religious orthodoxy and Southern Poverty Law Center leftist orthodoxy banning this. And now you can't show Obama and Hillary clips from PragerU, the most scholarly organization, that's just very politely, lovingly putting this out.
Right.
They show Tucker Carlson. That gets banned. So understand, folks, it's everything. It's everything. They're coming for everything. You can't show a clip of Obama calling for a border wall.
Right. No, I wanted to ask you this because we were actually in Austin doing a Change My Mind yesterday. I didn't know that you were down there, and I think we have some B-roll of you in, is this a truck or is this a tank that you're riding?
I didn't know you were there. You mean I could have come and crashed the show?
We don't, you know what, we actually, because of security reasons now, we never announce when we do it because it's not like a live show where we're in a theater. We've had some close calls, so now we just show up, do it, and leave immediately. And it got the hell out of Dodge. But for people who don't know, President Trump appeared to have met with Tim Cook, right, or at least is working closely with Tim Cook.
By the way, I didn't know you were going to bring this up, but I was going to bring it up.
Oh, go ahead.
Because Tim Cook is leading, on record, the Chi-Com operation. He's moved the code keys of Apple. Reuters reported 1.5 years ago to China. They're becoming basically state-run. They've gotten tax exemption. They're helping suppress 2 million Uyghurs in Mongolia and in forced labor camps. I mean, this is all going on.
Right.
Apple and Google are helping. And so now, yes, Trump's great. Let's bring some of the Apple factories without the suicide nets like Foxconn, literally, back here to the U.S. That's all wonderful. But Trump's up there with Tim Cook saying how great he is and everything, instead of saying, hey, how about you stop censoring all the conservatives? Tim Cook is leading the authoritarian censorship. Now they're banning all these pro-life groups, and they're trying to ban Focus on the Family's podcast on Apple with his
No, it's worse. It's worse than that. I don't know if you know this, but Live Action on Twitter, I believe, they were told they wouldn't be allowed to be on Twitter unless they removed all ultrasound photos from their own website. So I know you've talked about this, and Matt Drudge, about social media ghettos. But now these social media ghettos are saying, if you even, and YouTube did this with us with our merch store, they're saying, if you even have something off of our platform that we don't agree with, we're going to ban you. These were ultrasound pictures.
punish you for off-platform behavior. That's next level. In fact, Facebook 4 months ago, and they said, you can't even say my name in a positive way or you'll get banned. They said, by the way, in that same update, they said, we will punish you for off-platform, even stuff that's 5, 10 years old. We're watching you. How authoritarian is that?
And why do you think, we were just talking about, listen, I've been critical of Trump where I think he deserves criticism and try to be as fair as possible, but it is disappointing he's there with Tim Cook, or Tim Apple, as some people lovingly refer to him. What do you think when you watch it and Donald Trump doesn't talk about that at all? The censorship.
When I see that, it just lets me know that Ivanka and Jared Kushner, that are best buddies with Tim Apple, have basically, gotten Trump to sell out free speech for the idea that Tim Cook's going to build a bunch of factories here. But I mean, I think the First Amendment goes right along with the factories and is quite frankly even more important. And Trump has said, sure, we're going to take strong action against big tech censorship, which is coordinated, discriminatory, targeting whole classes of people. They just demonized me, took some colorful stuff out of context, and said, hey, we're just banning Alex Jones. Well, okay, just get rid of him. And then once that happened, that was the first big domino. So yes, my listeners want me to just love Trump and just absolutely everything he says is wonderful and everything's fantastic. And no, I mean, we need to keep Trump's feet to the fire, right? Or he is going to sit there and listen to some of the more, rhinos in the party, and is going to support red flag laws and things like that. Right. They could get rid of due process. So that's all I'm saying is, I'm glad Hillary's not president.
Sure.
But we don't need Trump to become Hillary light in this campaign process, or we've lost everything that we've been trying to fight for.
This is kind of the way I describe it to people, and let me know whether you agree or disagree. I think Trump's existence as president, and he wasn't my guy in the primaries, I didn't trust him, but his existence as president, his ability to sort of cut through the BS and shoot from the hip, that in and of itself has been a real blow to political correctness and sort of this culture of censorship. So his essence is very valuable there, but he doesn't take a lot of proactive actions to try and combat it. And I'd like to see more of that.
I was trying to say that on my own show today, and I was trying to explain, like, he's doing great and he's amazing and he's able to do all these things and he's able to change the story when they're trying to, keep it on some lie. And he's got great energy and I really love the guy and I'm sure he means well. It's just, we're hanging out here twisting in the wind.
Right.
And a lot of crazy stuff's going on. And I mean, do you hear Trump talking about Antifa viciously attacking patriots all over the country and attacking free speech? No, he needs to come out and champion his supporters and what we've all gone through being persecuted. And people need that and they want that. And so that's all I'm saying is, I'm not in a cult. I'm here telling Trump, hey, the InfoWars audience and others help get you into office. And we just need you not to desert your grassroots, where you came from. And look, Trump's great. They're persecuting him. They're lying. They're trying to get him out of there. He is a real president. He's promoting nationalism. He's hurting political correctness. He is literally the antidote to what they're doing.
Right.
We just simply need Trump on the censorship areas and on some other areas like that to come to the rescue, because he's having his own megaphone, his own amplification system cut out from underneath him. And it's very, very dangerous. And again, that's not even because I'm trying to get back on these platforms. I was already shadow banned the moment Hillary lost. I mean, it was like we were throttled back 96% on every graph. Right. See 96%. And then they just went, oh, well, we don't want his tombstone there. Just nothing of him unless it's negative. Right. And that's the only thing I don't like is these platforms can all have people attack me and say the most outrageous lies. And then I'm in solitary confinement and can't respond. My audience knows what's really going on.
Right.
But again, it's almost like the man in the high tower.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty crazy. And like, I think that's a good way to put it. He is an antidote himself, but he's not really prescribing the antidotes that I would like to see him prescribing. Like I said, we've gone over time. So for people who are watching on YouTube, it is InfoWarsStore.com, band.video. If you are not a member of Mug Club, we are going to go do a web extended Mug Club right now, talk a little bit more. I want to get into Epstein because we are doing a live stream on Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Epstein didn't kill himself. More with Alex Jones for Mug Club members. Hope you're enjoying the show. Of course, the #1 sponsor is you, Mug Club. LouderWithCrowder.com/Mug Club. We'll have a discount code on Monday when we do that live stream. But I do want to tell you about one of our sponsors here, Firearms Legal Protection. Everyone here at Louder with Crowder carries Because, well, you're can I say that you're a high-level shooter?
I mean, I've shot competitively, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get on the Hong Kong Olympic team.
I mean, I would preferably America, but if Hong Kong, if I have to do Hong Kong, that's fine too.
Why did you do this? Is this CNN
no,
quotes?
No, finger.
Finger? I don't know. I have no idea.
My fingers are fat. They can't cross.
Anyway, we do carry here, but let's face it. It's because we have to. We need to be able to defend ourselves. It's a necessity, especially you, because of people. I'm sure you have a lot of pissed off clients. You can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
You can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
And that's why we make sure to carry firearms legal protection in the event, God forbid, we have to use our firearm. They are. I'm supposed to say that, like they often tell, they're not the leader in prepaid self-defense protection plans, okay? This is what you hear in a lot of, they're the best. They are the best, period, bar none, because they have plans specifically designed, especially to protect you and your family. Attorneys, half Asian Bill knows, can cost you tens of thousands of dollars in a situation like this. With your FLP prepaid legal team, a plan, there's no deductible, no copay. How much do lawyers cost if you defend yourself?
Lots of money. If you go to the far end of Yelp and there's many dollar signs, that's where lawyers are.
That is where it's like the menu item that's expensive when they're comparing the fillet of fish and the spider monkey in a vise on the side of your table. By the way, they're also, this is something important to know, they're the only company of theirs to cover red flag laws. And I know we're not big fans of red flag laws as conservatives, but they'll pay for bail bond, they'll help you get your firearm back, get you through an arraignment, trial, witness selection, even lost wages, the reimbursement for that. So for exclusive pricing, go to firearmslegal.com/LWC. That's firearmslegal.com/LWC. You get introductory pricing. Here's the deal. If you carry a firearm, and if you are someone who, I don't even say it, whether you plan to use it or not, if you ever use it, you will thank God that you have some kind of insurance, because using your firearm to protect yourself is the first step. A lot of people don't think about the aftermath. There are competitors. None of them offer the kind of services that FLP does. And I say that sincerely because I know all of them. Firearmslegal.com/LWC. And they have the balls to sponsor the show. So have the balls to support them. You need it anyway. Unless you don't have a gun, you p***y.
LouderWithCrowderShop.com, supporting free speech since 2000 and something. With people being banned from social media left and right, you can now purchase this deplatform this limited edition LouderWithCrowderShop.com t-shirt, signifying your insubordinance to authority and request for them to kiss your ass and lick your balls. LouderWithCrowderShop.com today.
That was called the Vince Guaraldi's understudy was Greg Louganis, who convinced him to dive into the water, and then he realized that he couldn't play piano underwater.
It's like a one-act play.
Yeah, little one act about Vince Guaraldi and Greg Louganis. People always wonder, like, Greg Louganis. Research Greg Louganis. This guy had, if not AIDS, HIV. Hit his head on the backboard at the Olympics and bled all over the pool.
That's disgusting.
It is awful. Thank you so much to Alex Jones. Sorry, I know we have a much longer web extended this week because we went long. Economics do that. Hopefully made it entertaining. Next Monday, as we've said, please, it's going to be a big, the team, you guys worked tirelessly. By the way, I had no idea. I said, what I want to do is a Jeffrey Epstein episode where we actually try to recreate the situation, the scenario here. How he killed himself, because everything that we had read online, it didn't add up, and we don't know. We're going to do this live, actually live. Yep. It'll be done like an Evel Knievel stunt. We're going to have stagehands there. We're going to have professional security officers and people who know what to do in the event of a not. I guess
school buses.
School buses. For some reason, it'll be a large canyon.
Yeah.
And I just said, so let's just create, like, this is what they had. This is the kind of bed they had. There were no bars. So this is how we'll create sort of the set. You guys, they actually built the entire bedroom. They were bringing in, beams like the Seven Dwarves. It was unreal. So I think we have a screenshot. Let's just show them a screenshot here. Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we are going to do that live. I'm going to try multiple ways to not hang myself, break my neck. Break my cervical spine. That's what, and don't worry, we will have some neck protection, but we will also be measuring the force. What's that called? We'll actually we have a device we had to order, spared no expense.
I don't know what it's
that
called.
measures the force as well as the torque and the shear force from its anchor point to see if we can generate the amount of force necessary to break my spine. I don't know if it's is it Newtons?
Newtons.
I think you're making that up. Is it a fig? So that's Monday at 8 Eastern. All right, hold on one second. And then we also have I changed my mind on Wednesday. So we want to really just load this up because before we go to Thanksgiving, obviously not going to do a show on Thursday. I want it to be worth your while, where you have a ton of content to enjoy going into the break. I'm going to take a sip of water. Really, I haven't done this. Okay, so it's time for this. By the way, the black guy from the gym from the last Crowder Closes. He came up. I was with Johnny Boy at the gym, who's just strong as an ox. So if you guys haven't watched, I think it was last week's episode or the week before. And I was talking about red pilling a black guy at the gym.
Yeah.
Food for thought, that guy. Yeah. He came up to me at the gym. I was with Johnny Boy. He had no idea who this guy was. And he came up, he goes, "Hey, man, you a hot mess. You a hot mess." I said, "What?" He goes, "I love it. You a hot mess." And I was wondering if he had seen the video. I was like, "What did you?" I was like, "I talked about you on the show." He's like, "What?" No, I was like, "I thought that's why you were saying I'm a hot mess." "Nah, man, man, don't even get me started with you, man." And it was really nice. Oh, well. And then later I was talking with Johnny Boy. We were talking with someone else. And I said, yeah, blank. I don't want to give his name. I said, is a real character from across the gym without skipping a beat. I said, yeah, blank is a real character. "No, man, you a character. You the character, man. You a hot mess. I love you." You know Johnny Boy, when he gets beat red, purple, and he just couldn't stop laughing.
Oh, no.
Point is, I love it. I really am grateful that I get to share this stuff with you, and that I honestly, it was a tough week because we had to change my mind traveling, and I'm running on 4 hours sleep at most for several weeks. But at some point, I have to change my mindset, and when you're tired, I just go, you know what? I get to do this show. I get to come in and do this job. I'm grateful for it, even if I'm tired and I don't want to do that at that moment. So let's talk about this. Often, I will say the most challenging things that we do, and this is kind of what I've been going through these last couple of weeks, they're the things that aren't required of us, right? You're assigned a job at the office where you work. You have to do it or you're fired. You have to pick up your son from school or he'll get kidnapped, right? You have to wear a hat in the winter or you get AIDS. These are things, when they're required of you, they're not difficult to do. And what's far, and I've talked about this, but I want to get into a little more. What's far harder, and this is the reason that most human beings choose to be employees rather than business owners. What's harder is what you do, what you accomplish, and what challenges you overcome when it's not required of you. And by the way, that's also why I want to talk about this, because I want to see more business owners in the United States. We just talked about how, record level of black business owners. I think that's a wonderful thing. If you want to save the economy, and one thing that I hate with identity politics, both from the right and the left, and they go, whether it's, you should have bought American, you should think about America. Often they only think about employees and not the business owners. Business owners need to be able to have competent employees. Business owners are a part of the American fabric. They employ more Americans than non-business owners by a margin of 100%. So I really do think if we're going to talk about this as conservatives, right? People always go out and say, well, the educational establishment is a bit of a sham. Not everyone needs to go to a super expensive university. You hear this all the time. All these talking heads on radio, on cable news, guess what? All of their kids go to Harvard. All of their kids go to Princeton. None of them are going to a trade school. They don't practice what they preach. I want to see more business owners out there. And this is a challenge that people will run into, so I'm using it as an example, but that's also what I want to talk about. The most challenging things to accomplish are when nobody requires them of you. How much do you get done? How many obstacles do you plow through when not only is no one expecting you, but no one even cares? Right? This is why most people are gainfully employed, but they're also out of shape. It's why most people's kids, they're fed, they're sheltered, but that garden patio out back was never completed, and it's just brown recluses are piling up there in their Barca Lounger, right? It's why, and follow with me here because I want you to understand what I'm saying. Don't say I'm trashing veterans. It's the opposite. It's why we have countless veterans and they've told me this at our meet and greets, they can blow up buildings, secure areas, even drag their brothers in arms out from blast zones, and then when they come home, not only do they struggle with PTSD, often depression. And again, I don't say this at all to belittle our troops, but to draw attention to something that we often ignore. And to a point, this is not only our troops, but this is a part of the human condition at large. But with veterans, they often say that when they come home, they feel directionless. They feel like they're floating. Because it's floating around in this sort of in the ether, because it's very hard to go from war, a red zone 10, and thank you guys for doing it, back down to a level 4 in civilian life. And to the veterans out there, you were carrying out some of the most extreme acts of bravery, heroism, because you had to. Sure, you chose to sign up, absolutely, and we appreciate that. But you were following orders from your superior, because if you didn't, someone might die. And then you arrive back here, and you know what? People thank you for your service, but no one really orders you around. That goes back to the Bing Crosby song on White Christmas about no one wanting to employ a 4-star general. And if you choose not to do anything when you come home from war and now you're in civilian life, probably no one's going to die. Except maybe yourself. Except maybe your soul. That's what you end up crushing. And let me go on the veteran tangent for a bit, because I know there are some wonderful charities out there. And even, you know, even better than charities, I think we have, I don't have their mug, this is my mug, but I have Black Rifle Coffee. I had it in here, now it's just water. There are some businesses. If you can do through business what people try to do through charity, I always advocate the business route first. That's why I have a problem with all of the conservative organizations and all these 501c3s, 501c4s, and they're beholden to the government, right, for tax exemption. Not C4s, C3s, sorry, there are different exemptions for political organizations. I want to see businesses. That's also why we've never been out there begging with a cup. We try to give you more content. And so even better than charities for veterans, Black Rifle Coffee, they are a sponsor of the show. They specifically and proactively hire veterans to help with that problem of reintegrating and not reintegrating someone who is and we misuse this word a lot to the point where it dilutes it, kind of like Donald Trump with Powerhouse, actual real life warriors, reintegrating them into a society where no one is telling them to be a warrior anymore. It's not required of them to be a warrior anymore. So companies like Black Rifle Coffee and hiring them and having them run businesses, it creates structure and purpose, which is so important. But that's only a piece of the puzzle. So for veterans, please do. There are a lot of businesses out there that do want to support competent veterans out there. I get how hard it is. I don't say that because I've been to battle, but we've had fans send us flags. We've had fans send us, you know, items that people were wearing when they were shot in war. And so we hear this all the time. And I'm incredibly grateful. But there are other businesses and organizations that can help you. But we need you, let's get off the veterans, for everyone else, this is everybody. We need you, and you need you, comfortable with the idea of doing things when no one else is looking and no one even cares. So this is what I want to ask of you, okay? I want you to think about it right now. Take a minute. We sort of do this as a thought exercise. I want you to think about something that you know you should do, or that you know you were called to do, or you know what, even just something that needs to be done. Maybe it wasn't put in your lap, but it is something that can be done, and it's been in your mind for a while, but no one's requiring it of you, okay? No one's requiring it of you. I just sounded like Bill Superfoot Wallace in the first UFC. No one to have a bleep. Still the funniest moment on television if you haven't seen it. The very first UFC event, Bill Superfoot Wallace, they come and he goes, yes, and tonight's competitors have and he panics. But I do want you to do this thought exercise here.
Me all the time.
When you're in a position, I'm trying to get to something, but, you know, I'm just too angry today. I'm too angry and bitter. I want you to think of what it is that you feel called to do that needs to be done, that hasn't been, that no one is calling you to do. Take a minute, pause this if you have to. Think about what that is, okay? Now, if you've paused it, I want you to now tell me, comment, or tell someone else, what is it you are going to do to accomplish this when you are in this position where comparatively there's no accountability? Because here, let me put a little twist on that. You are accountable to yourself. And just as sure as the most corrosive lies that we tell are the ones that we tell ourselves because we never believe them and we have to layer lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie to try and face ourselves in the mirror, just as dangerous are the things that you don't do that you know you should be doing because you're not accountable to anyone else, but you are accountable to yourself. Don't forget that. No one cares. I don't care what you do when someone orders you to do something. I don't care what you do because you have to do it when your back is against the wall. What is it you do? Who are you when no one is looking and nobody even cares? That is what defines you, and you can start changing that right now. I'll see you next week at the Epstein Didn't Kill Himself live stream. He didn't hold himself accountable. He was a pedophile. pretty bad.
It only takes a time.